Senator Markey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Pruitt, earlier today you said that the EPA has an important role in regulating carbon dioxide because of the 2007 landmark Supreme Court ruling in Massachusetts versus EPA. The EPA administrators for both President Bush and President Obama made a decision that carbon pollution poses a danger to America, otherwise known as the endangerment finding. Will you promise to keep on the books the scientific finding that carbon pollution poses a danger to the American public health and welfare?
Two things, Senator. First, with respect to Mass v. EPA, the Supreme Court said to the EPA that they had to make a decision.
That's right.
To determine whether CO2 posed a risk. And as you indicated, in 2009, they did so. That is the law of the land, those two cases. There's an obligation of the EPA administrator to do his or her job in fulfilling Mass v. EPA and that endangerment finding from 2009.
So you will keep that scientific finding on the books?
The endangerment finding is there and needs to be enforced and respected.
Okay, and you will not review that scientific finding?
There's nothing that I know that would cause a review at this point.
That's very good. Massachusetts versus EPA made it possible for states like California and Massachusetts to set higher standards for the fuel economy of vehicles using their authority under the Clean Air Act. This is a powerful tool for states to reduce emissions and address global warming. As a direct result of the Clean Air Act authority combined with my 2007 fuel economy law, the Obama administration an historic agreement with the auto industry's support to increase fuel economy standards to 54.5 miles per gallon by 2025. Those standards are projected to reduce our dependence on foreign oil by more than 2 million barrels a day, prevent 6 billion tons of carbon pollution, and save consumers more than $1.7 trillion at the gas pump because their cars will be so much more efficient. Those standards are also unleashing a Tesla revolution, clean energy vehicles all across the country. 10,000 people are going to be employed, for example, in Nevada in this technology area. You've said that you want states to play a larger role in environmental regulation. In your 2015 testimony before the House Science Committee, you wrote, quote, "The EPA was never intended to be our nation's frontline environmental regulator. The states were to have regulatory primacy." But earlier today, you wouldn't commit to maintaining California and Massachusetts and other states' ability to be regulatorily primacy as the leaders of the effort to protect their own state, to do what is best for global warming in their own states. So I'm going to ask you again, will you support the statutory right of states to do more to reduce dependence on foreign oil, reduce global warming pollution, save money at the gas pumps, and create tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs in the clean car job business?
I think, Senator, generally the answer to that would be yes, but in application with the California waiver that was discussed earlier, that's an adjudicatory process that I can't prejudge what would occur there. As you know, previous administrators have either granted or denied that based upon a record that was made. I do respect and do believe that states have a very important role. We've acknowledged that, or I've acknowledged that today with respect to the Chesapeake Bay situation as an example. And so I will look at that issue like others to make sure that it's respected, but also is consistent with the statutory framework that you've outlined.
Do you support the law that says that California has a right to ask for a waiver?
It's statutory, and it's something the administrator has an obligation to do. So, yes, I do respect it.
Do you support the current California waiver for greenhouse gas standards?
Senator, that's what would be evaluated, and I think it's very difficult, and we shouldn't prejudge the outcome in that regard if confirmed as administrator.
So you're questioning the current waiver. You don't think they're entitled to the current waiver? Well,
the waiver is something that's granted on an annual basis, and the administrator would be responsible for making that decision.
Yeah, and so you say you're going to review it?
Yes, Senator.
Yeah, and when you say review, I hear undo, the rights of the states, and I think to a certain extent it's troublesome because obviously what we've heard all day is how much you support states' rights when it comes to these issues. But now when it comes to the right of California, of Massachusetts, and other states to be able to reduce carbon pollution, you're saying you're going to review that. So my problem really goes to this double standard that is created, that when you sue from the Oklahoma perspective, from the oil and gas industry perspective, and you represent Oklahoma, you say they have a right to do what they want to do in the state of Oklahoma. But when it comes to Massachusetts, or it comes to California, and it comes to the question of those states wanting to increase their protection for the environment, protect their victimization from carbon pollution, you say there, you're going to review. And I think that the history of the agency in granting reviews that have been necessary for Massachusetts, for California, and other states to improve the environment are still valid. The science hasn't changed. The new clean energy technologies have not changed. The danger to the public from environmental exposure to carbon pollution has not changed. And so from our perspective, you know, we are fearful of what a review would actually result in. And from my perspective, I think it's going to lead to you undoing that right of the states to be able to provide that protection.